Hello and welcome to my Yin Yoga class. We're going to start in Savasana. So start laying on your back, grounding down into your mat, relaxing the back of the head on the mat, relaxing the shoulders and the arms, the hips, the backs of the legs, and just relaxing the ankles out to the side. And just arriving on your mat, leaving whatever has happened today behind and just focusing on the here and the now. Taking the arms up above the head and having a little stretch. Grounding down through the shoulders, wriggling the toes. Bringing that right leg into the body. Hugging the knee in towards the chest. Breathing. Feeling that lovely stretch on the inside of the thigh and the right hip. And taking that right leg over towards the left side of the body, maybe resting the hand on the right hip, or maybe opening the right arm out to the side of the mat. Option to take the left arm up above the head as well, and taking the gaze over to the right hand. Maybe resting the inside of the right knee onto a block. And just breathing into the abdomen here, breathing into the supine twist in the lower back. Knowing that the attention is going to drift, and that's completely fine. But just taking the attention back to our breath. Removing the block if it's underneath your right leg, and taking that right leg into the chest and releasing it out to the mat. Having a little shake, rolling the left leg into the body with a bend and hugging it into the chest. Again, feeling into the tension maybe on the left side of the hip or the inner left thigh. Just sending lovely nourishing breaths to this area. And taking that left leg over to the right side of the body for a supine twist. Again, maybe getting a block or a cushion or a book to rest underneath that knee. Taking the left arm out to the side and taking the right arm above the head maybe. Option to keep the left arm onto the hip as well. Breathing here, breathing into the abdomen. Consciously trying to make the belly rise and then fall by drawing the belly button back to the spine. Just removing the block from underneath the knee and taking both knees into the chest, giving yourself a big hug. Maybe taking a rock side to side. Drawing a circle with your knees. And then just walking the feet out. Turning over very slowly onto your front. Into a resting position. Just taking the right cheek to the backs of the hands. Breathe in here, taking that left arm out to the side off the mat and rolling over onto that left hip. Just dropping the left cheek onto the ground. Option to take that right leg out, grounding down through the right foot for a bit of a deeper stretch, supporting yourself by grounding the right hand into the mat. And just taking little micro movements here if you have taken your right leg over. Playing around with the position of the shoulder. Again, taking the attention back to the breath. Rolling over onto the front, just resting the right cheek or the left cheek onto the backs of the hands. Taking that right arm out to the side of the mat and rolling over onto that right hip. Supporting yourself with the left hand. Option to take that left leg back. Grounding down through the left foot. Just deepening that stretch in the shoulder. Breathing into this tight area. With every exhale, just releasing the tension here. Yin Yoga isn't about straining the muscles, stretching the muscles. It's about working on the tendons and the fascia. Focusing on the breath and the sensations. And just rolling back onto our front. And just take an easy resting pose. When you're ready on the next inhale, taking that left knee, sliding it off of the mat and just taking it up into half frog. Left knee in line with the hip. Breathing here, breathing into these tight sensations that you may find in the hip when you're stretching them. Especially for women, we hold quite a lot of tension here and emotionality in our hips. So if this brings up any emotions, just letting it wash over you, observing it, but not looking into it. Taking that left leg down towards the right and then sliding that right leg up. Again, knee is in line with the hip. Breathe in here and just taking the attention back to the breath. When you find the mind wandering, Just sliding that right leg back to meet the left, pushing up on the hands and taking it to a tabletop position. Just walking the hands out in front and dropping the chest towards the mat. We're going to take puppy pose. So the hips are sent up to the sky, just stretching in the armpits and the shoulders here, grounding our hands into the mat. Breathing into this space of tension. And just rolling up through the spine, come into a tabletop position, sliding our right arm underneath the left, grounding down through the left hand. And again, just feeling that release onto the right shoulder this time, maybe resting the right ear down onto the mat, maybe taking the left arm towards the base of the spine, or if possible, twisting the arm and tucking it inside the right thigh. Again, just finding your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Taking deeper inhales and taking longer exhales here. Taking that left arm back onto the mat if it was bound around and coming up into a tabletop. We're going to take our left arm underneath the right, stretching through that left shoulder this time, grounding down through the right hand. Option to take that right arm back towards the base of the spine. The shoulders are a very tense space, and often a space that's a little bit neglected with stretching. So you could find that you were surprised by the tension that's been released in the shoulders. Coming up onto the knees. We're going to walk our toes out, keeping our knees stretched and just grounding the glutes down onto the mat. Breathe in here. Option to take a block underneath the glutes for this pose. Resting the backs of the hands onto the knees. Again, just finding your breath in this new posture. Spine nice and elongated. Inhale the arms up to the sky, interlace the fingers, and take the hands to the soles of the feet, taking the neck down, head onto the ground. Breathe here. Feeling nice and safe here in your little cocoon. And exhale, roll up through the spine from the base to the top really slowly. Take the hands out in front, walk the hands towards the front of the mat. Tuck in the toes. We're going to push up through the knees into a downward facing dog. Planting the fingertips onto the ground. Rolling the shoulders back, taking the gaze through to the ankles, taking the hips up all the way to the sky. Option to pedal out your dog here. Option to drop the heels down in the direction of the ground. Option to take a little bend as well in the knees. Listening to your body. Coming up onto the toes and walking the toes to the top of the mat very slowly. Inhale for lift, exhale, taking it over to Uttanasana, forward fold, grabbing the elbows with our opposite hands, allowing the neck, the shoulders, the arms to hang really heavy here, allowing gravity to do its thing. Stretching the top of the back, the tops of the shoulders, the backs of the legs. Taking a bend here and rolling up through the spine very, very slowly. Head is the last thing to arrive. Just rolling the shoulders back. Taking the hands out for Tadasana. Palms face the front of the mat. Inhale, sweeping the arms up to the sky, palms to touch. Interlacing the fingers and pressing the palms up to the sky. And exhale, taking them down for forward fold. Again, taking opposite elbows with our hands and just hanging heavy here. Maybe rocking left to right. Stepping the right and then the left leg back, coming down onto our knees for a low plank. Plank on our knees. Inhale and exhale, lowering it down all the way to the ground, untucking the toes. Pressing the hands into the mat around the chest area and taking the gaze up to the sky. Exhale, lowering the chin or the forehead down onto the mat. Inhale, lift the gaze to the sky for baby cobra. Exhale, taking the gaze toward the mat. One more time. Inhale for lift. And exhale to lower the chin down onto the ground. Just bringing the arms out in front and allowing our head just to rest heavily onto the backs of our arms. Looking right or left, it's up to you. And just breathing, finding stillness. Inhale, pushing up through the hands and just coming onto our backs. We're going to take Supta Baddha Konasana, which is reverse butterfly. So lying down onto the ground, soles of the feet together, allowing our knees to roll out to the edges of the mat. Taking the arms out in a T shape or maybe above the head. So getting that opening through the inside of the thighs, getting that little stretch in the shoulders. Rest in the back and just breathing here. This is a place of great tension for some people. So just sending lovely fresh breath to this area. Just bringing that hands down, bringing in the knees together. Walking the feet out to the edges of the mat and just rocking the inside of the knees in together just to rest on each other lightly. Taking the knees over to the left. Inhale to the center. And exhale over to the right. Just working through this motion in your own breath. Taking the feet towards the top of the mat. Taking the right leg and then the left leg into the chest. Taking a happy baby, grabbing the outside or the inside of your heels, pulling the knees down to the outside of the ribs, grounding down through the lower spine. Taking a big smile on your face for your happy baby. And just taking the knees down to the mat. We're going to find our Savasana pose now. So resting the back of the head onto the ground. Finding some space between the body and the arm, underneath the armpits. Grounding down through the shoulders a little bit into the mat. And just allowing the feet to roll out and just relax. And just come in to find your breath. First, just finding your natural breath. And then focusing on the inhale and the exhale through the nose, working on deepening that inhale. Imagine the belly rising with that lovely fresh breath, not straining the belly, but filling it completely with air. And you're exhaling, you're taking the belly button all the way back to the spine, and just completely emptying the belly of fresh breath. And just working here like this on this motion of inhaling, deepening the inhale, and exhale, lengthening the exhale. And just feeling the support of the earth underneath your body, knowing that it's got you. Feeling that connection with the parts of the body that are resting on your mat. I leave you here in Savasana for as long as you want. Thank you for joining me today for this yin practice. I'm just going to get up very gently if you're coming with me. If not, stay in Savasana and enjoy the benefits of a longer Savasana. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Exhale, taking the hands down to the palms. Again, thank you for joining me today. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you.